Hi everyone, my name is Julia and I'm the owner and founder of Lash Tribe. We help create successful and fully booked lash artists all over the world with the help of our online and in-person training programs. And today's episode of the Lash Tribe Show is all about lash competitions. And I'm joined today by two fabulous ladies, Paola and Kathy, who are going to talk about their experience with entering lash competitions, live competitions, as well as fantasy competitions. And if you have ever thought about entering one yourself, you definitely don't want to miss this episode because we are giving away quite a few tips and tricks that you need to look out for. Picking the correct model, picking the correct length, color of lashes, things, the categories that your judges will judge you at, and how to set up everything for the lash competition and how to calm down your nerves as well. So don't miss today's episode and we're going to get right into it.
My name's Kathy. I started lashing back in 2017. I started that because I was a personal trainer for quite a few years, and I've been through the process of being a personal trainer, working in a gym, owning my own gym, selling my gym. Towards the end, I was pretty over the gym scene, so I just wanted a change. And back then, I was pretty much a lash addict myself. I've been getting extensions on myself for maybe 5 years in a row now, back then. So I thought, yeah, it's a good idea for me to just dive into the beauty industry and see where I go. And it's been here since.
So how long ago was that? So when did you start lashing?
So 2017.
17. Okay, cool. Yeah. And now you also are starting to get into training, right?
Yes, just did your course.
Yeah, well, that's exciting. I think you'll do very well. I love your work.
Thanks.
And Paola, I know we know each other for a little while, a couple of years, but just tell everyone a little bit about your story and your background. Where did you come from? When did you start lashes and your business?
Okay, so I'm Paola Darcera, and I started 3 years ago with Lash Tribe Academy. So back then I was actually working in a retail store, and it was quite hard because I work about 6 to 7 days a week. So I'm like, oh, I don't know, where am I going? And I'm only earning this much. I don't know if I can grow or anything. So I decided to get into the beauty industry and kind of like lashes. So, but I was thinking like, oh, I don't think I can do a course because it's going to take a lot of time. So what I did is I researched more and more, and I found out about Lash Tribe, and they're doing online courses. And I asked Julia if this really is the course that I need, because I had a previous course before and it wasn't as good. And yes, it was actually amazing. And I was able to do classic and then volume course. And I think I finished end of 2016 for that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, the next year, I decided to build my own business, and I called it Posh Deluxe, located in Perth. Yeah, pretty much it started from there. And then I started doing mega volume. I started doing all the other courses, even the business lash course that you have, the 6-week business course. I took that one as well. And then I also did the eye styling course. And it actually all of them helped me a lot.
Yeah, you did a lot of learning and
actually a lot. Yeah, because I was stressing about how to get clients as well at the same time. But while I'm not having that much clients, I decided to why not just do everything all at the same time, just learn it all. Yeah, so it was actually really good.
Do you think it was like a natural progression? You knew so many things, you trained with so many different people now as well. For you to say, okay, what's the next thing? Like, what is there left? What can I do? Is that why you kind of started to do competitions? Or what was the first time where you go, oh, I really want to do a competition?
But basically, I I was like, maybe I should try something different, get out of my comfort zone. And if I join a competition, what would happen to me? I was actually really scared. Like, I don't know what to do. I went in there and it was a live competition. I have not done online competition. I don't know what else is out there, but there's a lot of learning afterwards. So after that, I went on and keep doing, and then keep learning from it. So it was really good.
Yeah. And you, Kathy, I know you've entered a beginners competition a couple of years back. Tell me about that. Why did you do that? I would never. I would be way too scared.
I've heard there's a competition going on, and I've really thought about doing it, but I didn't really enter till last minute because I'm such a competitive person. To me, if I want to enter a competition, I want to know that I have my best work. Back then, I've only been doing volume lashes for 3 or 4 months. I wasn't really comfortable with myself, but then again, like everyone else in my class is like a beginner anyway. So yeah, last minute, I thought I'll just need to do it. If I overthink, I'll probably never enter a competition. And yeah, pretty much, I think, yeah, I entered just before the deadline cut off, and yeah.
And you did it. And how was it? Was it scary? Tell me a little bit about how you felt.
It wasn't scary. It's more like I feel like live competition is very different. It's really distracting. You're in a convention center, there's people talking and walking around you. I find it's really hard for me to focus, but once I did, it was pretty good.
What are some things that either of you use to set yourself up so that you would feel a bit more comfortable, because it's such a different space? It's not your bed, it's not your chair, it's not your trolley. You're there with everyone else. Like, what were some, I guess, strategies to kind of focus and zone out? What did you do?
Well, in the future, if I were to do it again, I'll probably bring my own earphones.
Mm-hmm.
That would definitely help.
Did you bring anything that made you feel more comfortable? Like, were you able to bring, I don't know, your own lash pillow, your own products? Were you able to use whatever you wanted?
Yeah, I can use pretty much anything I wanted, which is really handy. Pretty sure they provide you with a glue, but you can bring your own if you want to.
Okay. And what was it like for you, Paola?
For me, it was okay at first. Like, you kind of get nervous when you get in there and sit down, but as you go on and started lashing, it's just like everything is gone. You don't hear anything at all. But yes, she was right. There's a lot of distractions all around. So the people walking past by you and they're looking at you. They're calling out time, like, 30 minutes gone or something, or 1 hour is gone. And it's good to like hear some of it at the same time you're zoning out. So, which is good. We were able to use products that we want to, but there are some like last minute ones that we're not allowed to use, boosters and all that stuff as well. So that's actually quite good to know beforehand, because you can get deducted with that one. Things like adhesives, I would say bring like 3 different types of adhesives. For example, one that is good for very low humidity, second is the one medium, then third one will be your highest one. Or if you can bring an adhesive that is like good for a lot of like big range of humidity, that would be great. Because I've used one particular adhesive and it didn't work.
Wow.
The second adhesive, it didn't work. Maybe I'm just like nervous and I couldn't get one lash stick on that one. But yeah, the third adhesive works. So I'm like, maybe this is it. And then you just keep going. So you just have to be careful, like, and you have to bring like extra tweezers and all that stuff as well, just in case you're too nervous and you drop it and all that stuff. Yeah.
What were some things where you, Kathy, you thought that, because I know you placed well, like, do you want to just tell everyone what you placed like in that competition?
So I got second.
And that's really good for a beginner, right? Yeah. Why do you think that is? Like, can you give us some tips of, maybe you heard from the judges that give you maybe some ideas of why that was? What some things you did wrong?
I've gotten some tips before that for competitions. They really focus on coverage. And also they're focusing on stickies. So I was really making sure I was getting those two right. And I think with live competition, because you do the first eye at home, so you really don't want to overdo that because you do the second eye with the timer, and you don't want to do too much on one eye and then not be able to match the other eye on the day of the competition, because one's hands are quite shaky. So there's a chance you'll be a lot slower on competition day. So I purposely didn't do my first eye as full I would be, just because I feel like if my second eye is not as full as my first eye, I'll probably get deducted on that one. And also I set aside 20 minutes at the end just to check stickies to make sure I have 0 stickies.
Wow, that's a long time for stickies, but I know because I have judged some competitions myself that if you have a perfect set, the balance is beautiful, the styling is beautiful. If you find stickies, that's per sticky, it's like 1 point gone. In some competitions that are very harsh, and you can lose everything.
Yeah, I've also heard they're very, they also look at you with sanitizing your hands and stuff. So say if you need to look at your phone for the time, or you're allowed your phone, but they say whatever you touch, you need to make sure they see that you actually sanitize your hands. So you have to pick up the hand sanitizer, squeeze into your hand just to make sure they see.
Yeah, the hygiene is really important for them,
Especially today. Well, who knows when the first time we'll be able to do a lash competition again. And Paola, what are some tips that you can give people who want to enter a competition?
Online, is it for online or for?
No, for like a live competition. And maybe we can talk about online after that as well, a little bit.
So for live competitions, hygiene is very important. She is right. Especially like people who don't wear masks, they like kind of deduct points on that one as well. There's one point I got deducted. I think I put an eyeliner as my mapping, and I forgot to bring the makeup remover. So I had to ask one of the organizers to pass me one, and I got deducted for it. So make sure you bring everything, because you're not allowed to go back to your bag and take everything out, because once everything is on your trolley, that's it for you. That's all you can take. So if you forget something, you're done. You get deducted for it, or you miss something out, like your lash shampoos and all that. Make sure you bring it. Show that you're washing the lashes before you prep everything. Just be hygienic. I would suggest, I will highly recommend to bring those, like a container kind of thing, and then you put everything in there, so you don't rush when you go in. You just take that container and then put it on a trolley, and like that's it. So don't forget anything.
Like a little organizer, caddy.
Yeah, kind of organizer. Yeah,
that's a good idea.
I've seen like a few ladies went there as well with it. Like I did not like thought about it at first. That was the first competition I've ever entered, and I'm like, oh, everyone's so organized. I don't have one.
It was your first time, right?
I could take out everything one by one. So good.
Kathy, what kind of important points are there to note if you want to enter competition of what your model should be like? Because I've heard, and I've judged some, of course, myself, how important the choice of model is. What do you have to look for in a model?
So with models, one, they don't have way too many natural lashes because, they do judge you on coverage. So if you can't make them full, then you'll get deducted on a point. Another thing is the layers of their lashes. If the layers are very far away, the lashes won't be looking as dense. So if you have a look at your model's lash layers, if the top, middle, and bottom layers are too far away, then she shouldn't be a model. And also make sure your model can hold her bladder. That's very important too.
Yeah. What about like eyebrows or skin or anything like that, or color?
Well, I've never been told about the skin color or the eye color, but to me, I feel like when the skin of the model is lighter and their eye color is lighter, the lashes can look darker. And with the eyebrows is the same. If your models have great eyebrows, then their lashes will look really good as well.
What are some tips that you have found, Paola? What are like the best choices of models that you had?
Best choice for the model, definitely good skin. Because the whole face is, you also get the whole points for it as well. So the overall look, you get points for that. Also, make sure that the model is not allergic to the eyelash extensions.
Has that ever happened? Have you heard of a competition where that
model went bloodshot on this eye? Once you get red eye, you don't win anymore, and that's it. Because no one would ever want to put that in a magazine or want to put that in their social media. That's it. If she's sensitive, because that model, because I had to flew to Brisbane that time, and I've not seen this model before. I've not lashed her before. She's not had eyelash extensions before, so she doesn't know. But she's a very beautiful girl. Don't get me wrong. But she went bloodshot after that. She's got this very round eyes, very beautiful eyes, but that's it. If she turns red, she turns red. There's just some clients like that. There's some people like that can get red eyes. Yeah, so make sure to get the right model. You've lashed her before. She's not allergic to eyelash extensions, not pregnant. And I would highly suggest, if you're flying, for example, me from Perth, and then I'm going to fly to Brisbane, for the next time I'm going to be doing it again, I'm definitely going to bring someone with me from Perth that I already knew.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. They fly their own models with them. But, if you're just starting out, you probably can't really afford that unless the other person would like to have a little holiday themselves and pay for it. Yeah, but I think that's a really good idea. How much time are you actually given to do one eye in live competitions these days?
It was about 2 hours.
That's quite a lot of time, though. Or is that including setup and
Yeah, it's including the setup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One more question I wanted to ask. What are some things where you'd say, do not do that, stay away from that will lose you any lash competition? Maybe Paola, if you want to go first.
Yeah, so I would say, for example, if your model have this makeup on, she looks beautiful with it, but there's a makeup debris around the lashes, that is not good. They will deduct you points for it because the lashes needs to be very clean. So I would highly suggest to not put any eye makeup around it. So maybe just foundation, do the brows, and then do the blush on, then lipstick, and then that should be good enough. Yeah.
Because as soon as there's a bit of fallout on the lashes, they will deduct points, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they won't hold very easily anyway if there's some makeup debris in there. So you lose points on the retention because they brush like crazy. The judges brush like there's no tomorrow. Like they really want to get that lashes off. That's how they brush.
Yeah, I remember when I judged a competition in Canada, Montreal, like 3 years ago or so, we had a little case, like an empty lash case, and we passed it from judge to judge, and every judge brushed more lashes off, and we put them all in the case, and then we counted all the lashes in the end. There was like the most perfect, beautiful fans, but there's 20 in the tray. She did not win anything, but it was amazing. She just did not use enough adhesive because the attachment looked okay, but there was just not enough adhesive, and it brushed 20 lashes out. It was
Well, you can get deduction as well if you put too much adhesive, but there's also the thing that if you just use enough to get that better retention, because I didn't lose any lashes on mine. But yeah, so it's really good that that you get good retention. So that means that you got to use enough adhesive.
Yeah.
You make sure that you brush it yourself as well. So like when they brush through it, it's all okay.
Yeah. And Kathy, what would you say are some tips that people should absolutely not do when they're doing a live competition?
I've actually heard this from Flawless Lashes by Darcera. I'm not sure if that rule applies to all competitions, but she said apparently you can't really touch your model's lashes during a live competition. with your fingers. You also can't use like the pinching method for volume lashes. And I know some people have habit of using their fingers to help with the isolation, and you need to avoid doing that.
Yeah, using the nail. What about length? What have you found that's a big topic?
Yeah.
Who wants to talk about the correct lengths to use in competitions?
I would highly suggest to do in between 4, maximum maybe 10, because like most of the time they look at the length, and a lot of lashes out there are not really like about 10 millimeters. But yeah, the longer you go, it's not good. The shorter, the better, and it looks denser.
Yeah, I found that too. And what about if you have someone, and that's happened a few times when I had to judge sets online where I will deduct points. I guess I can talk on that quickly. Something that I find difficult is if you have someone extremely fair with very blonde lashes, blonde hair, blue eyes, and you chuck really dark mega volume lashes on them. I think it's just important to think a little bit differently and perhaps use a brown, nice brown lash, something that suits them. And this is where I feel a lot of beginners make mistakes. They think they need to put dramatic lashes on everyone, even though they may be perfectly applied, but they're just not the competition lash. I think there's a huge difference between an everyday client and what they want, and then doing like a competition lash. Do you find that as well?
Yeah, definitely.
So another thing I wanted to ask, and I know Paola can talk about that because you recently entered, and also then the next year after, this year you judged one of those competitions, fantasy competitions. And maybe I can also ask Kathy, what is the most outrageous thing you've ever seen, but also what kind of time do you have to plan to actually enter a fantasy competition, and how do they differ from like a live competition where you just apply one eye?
Okay, so for the live fantasy competition that we have, of course, most of the competition for fantasy is gone online nowadays, but we're lucky to still do a live competition this year. Last year I did join after I joined the lash competition, the normal one, and then I only actually have 1.5 months to prepare when I got invited to do it. I would highly suggest to like prepare 3 months at least for that one. The best thing about it is you do the lashes first before. So the day before you do all the lashes, the colored lashes and everything. And then all the props, the costumes, the headpiece, the back piece that you do, that's all been prepared. And then you're just gonna put it all together on that day. So we have about 4 hours to do that. And so to do that, you're also doing your makeup, you're doing your body painting. I've also known one person who did the spray painting, and she was very quick. I think she's been doing that for a long time. But spray painting, I think it's quite fast to do than doing the actual body paint. And then the props and all that, you got to prepare. Make sure that what you're doing, the whole lot, is in the theme. For example, the theme is, let's say, hearts or Valentine's, okay? And then you do this mechanical kind of thing, or computer girl or something. Then it doesn't suit the theme anymore. You get a massive deduction for that. So if it's like Valentine's Day, you got to put all hearts in or do some roses and all that stuff. Make sure everything is in the theme. For the lashes, I would say do a lot of colors, okay? If they see a lot of colors in it, that is good. You get more points on that. And another thing about it is you still have to do lash art on it. So you're not just doing colors, okay? You're not just putting like Russian volume 2D, 3D and all that. Most of the time for fantasy, they don't look at lash weight, they don't look at lash health at all. It's all about working on arts. That's why it's called fantasy lashes. So at the end of the day, it's still a fantasy work. So, and it's still a lash work. So most of the points, for example, the lash competition that I judge, the points for lashes are 40/40. So that is big. So if you don't do much of the lashes, you lose a lot of points on it. Like the overall look is only like 20/20, or the costume is only like 20/20. But the lash part, it's still bigger points because this is still a lash competition at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yes, and the last year we did apply the lashes on the actual natural lash, and this year they can apply it on the natural lash as well, and they also did a strip lash, so you can do whatever you want on the strip lashes without worrying about like the lash weight and all of that, and at least you don't have to remove it at the end of the day because you're already tired. So it's actually a very smart thing to do. It was actually a brilliant idea that they can do such thing. But yeah, so every competition is quite different. I would suggest everything that you do, from the back piece, from the costume, from the makeup, from the headpiece, everything should match in a theme. Yeah.
One thing I want to add to it, judging competitions, is to not forget about the bottom lashes. So many times I see beautiful fantasy art and sets and things connected to headpieces and the sides, and then the bottom lashes have black mascara on them, and that's a huge deduction as well. I see it a lot. I forget it constantly. Yeah,
because sometimes like the bottom lashes got its own category as well, so they do the category for the whole lashes, and then they go bottom lashes, and then if that is none, that is 0. So there's nothing to judge.
No,
so you need a lot of points on it.
Talking about categories, Kathy, can you just tell me what sort of, I guess, categories are you actually being judged on when you are doing a set of lashes in a competition?
Definitely coverage, the weight of the lashes, stickies, the overall look, if it suits the model or not, hygiene, and I'm not sure if there's anything else.
I think there's like balance, maybe. Yeah. Some people have smoothness, but that's only if you're just doing like the perfect line effect. Otherwise, you might like to enter like a spiky type competition. Yeah. What other categories can you think of, Paola? Just that people are aware that if they enter something, they have to really think about every single little category and make that perfect.
I think she's covered everything.
Usage of glue, like how much glue you use.
The use of adhesive, not too less. Like a little bit of dot at the end of the fan or something. That's just right enough, just not too much, because they will see it as well. So if they see that there's like a big black thing, even on online competition is the same thing. You'll see it. Yeah. Of course, in a live competition, it's very obvious. If they will definitely see it if you put too much adhesives on it as well. Yeah. Make sure you're not too far away from the lash line. So that's another thing. So most of the competition I've been to is they do like a 0.2 in the inner corners. I'm talking about millimeters, 0.2. I'm not even talking 1 millimeter. It's 0.2 millimeters in the inner corners. Middle maybe 0.5 up to 0.5, and the outer corners is again 0.2 millimeters. So they look at that as well. And if you're not too far away from the lash line as well, your transition will be very good. So you have to look at the layers properly. If you work with the layers properly, you can see it, and you're just right away from the lash line, you'll get the very good transition. You get a perfect line, and most of the lash competition look for it, that perfect line.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Narrow fans as well. If your fans are too wide and then some of the fans are narrow, then you're not gonna get the right perfect line, because everything is going to change. It's going to go like that. It's not going to be perfect line anymore.
Yeah, great tips, guys. Now to finish off, a little bit of self-promotion, if you like. Kathy, would you like to start? What have you got going on? What's something that's coming up for you, and where can people reach you?
So my business name is Flawless by Kathy. On Instagram, just at Flawless by Kathy. So I do lash extensions, brow sculpts, and I do lash training as well.
Go see Kathy if you are in Brisbane right now. And once we are open again, go fly and see Kathy. And Paola, your step.
So my business name is called Posh Deluxe, and I do eyelash extensions myself. I still lashing, and I also do training. Most of the training I do is one-on-one. It's most likely to just do competition sets, learning more about competition and advanced volume, because not many people are doing advanced volume course at the moment. Yeah, and I also have an online shop for lashes. So it's www.poshdeluxe.com.au. We've also got another Instagram called Lash Supplies Australia. So you guys can check that out. And we've got different brands in there as well. I think we've got about 4 brands. So we got your Posh Deluxe, London Lash Pro from UK, Luxury Eye from UK, and the Ruthie Bell from Estonia. So yeah.
Excellent. Well, that brings us to the end. Thank you for sharing all your little tips. And I hope that some of the girls who are always thinking about it, they can enter a competition soon. Do you know of any upcoming competitions, maybe online ones that, which ones are coming up?
I think there's one that I know, Best of the Best. That one's a Netherlands one. They can also go and search it online through Instagram as well. So they can search it like Lash Competitions. If they should like be a lot popped out there. Also Facebook got one. There's also a group you can join, Lash Competitions online.
Yeah.
And you'll find a lot of things in there. You can also post like what are the competitions coming up, and then a lot of organizers and judges will just go and help you find them. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. And it's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed the Lash Tribe Show, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.